Now let's talk about how you can actually overcome procrastination, both long-term and short-term. The first is assess your procrastination. The first thing you should do is identify situations where you procrastinate unnecessarily, figure out how you actually procrastinate, figure out where and when you procrastinate, and finally figure out why you procrastinate. Now this allows you to know more about yourself, so you'll be able to implement the right approach to tackle the procrastination. For example, when you procrastinate, probably maybe it's in the evening. And why do you procrastinate? Probably because you are tired, or because you are tired, and then probably when you are in your room, all these things. Knowing more about why you procrastinate, when you procrastinate, where you procrastinate, will allow you to actually be able to implement the right principle to tackle it. So the first approach is assess your procrastination. Now the second one is create an action plan based on known anti-procrastination techniques. Now you already have all your whys, why you procrastinate, when you procrastinate, where you procrastinate, what are the chain thoughts that actually come to your mind when you procrastinate. So the next thing for you to do is sit down and then look for an anti-procrastinating techniques that will be able to counter those reasons why you procrastinate, where you procrastinate, and your actual procrastination itself. Now, so what are anti-procrastination techniques? Anti-procrastination techniques are methods that have been found to work against procrastination. Now, these techniques have been experimented upon, and then they've been found to actually overcome procrastination. I'll list those anti-procrastination techniques for you, and then you can pick the one that actually works for you. Number one, unpacking. Now, in unpacking, you break huge tasks into small ones, small achievable ones. So let's say you want to study organic chemistry now, when you're preparing for your O-level exam. What you do is, okay, you start with hydrocarbon. Okay, for this hydrocarbon, I'll probably spend like 1 hour to study this hydrocarbon. Then from hydrocarbon, I'll probably move to alkane. From alkane, then I'll move to alkene. So now you've broken each of those, the old bulky tasks of studying organic chemistry, you've broken it down into small subtopics, so that you start picking each of those subtopics bit by bit, so it won't look huge and vague to you. And number two, make the task easier and enjoyable. And the best approach to actually make the task easier is to reduce the friction between you and the task. And let me paint a scenario. Let's say you want to study and you're on your bed. You notice that when you're on your bed, you most likely want to either sleep or to actually watch movie. So it's best for you to actually take yourself from the bed, or you can just park the bed if it's like a student kind of bed. Park the bed and then go to a study table, so that you'll find it very difficult to actually go back to bed. And then it will be very easy for you to just pick your book and place on the table, and then you'll be comfortable actually performing that task of actually studying. And to make it enjoyable, the way you make it enjoyable is probably you can start listening to songs. If you're the kind of person that actually love listening to songs, you can listen to songs as you are studying, even though it's not entirely advisable. But then the most important thing for you to do is to start. Once you start with music, you will enjoy the studying. Like personally for me now, I study with music, so anytime I want to study, I am more eager to actually study, because I know that okay, I will listen to songs and then I love listening to songs. For you, it might not be music. For you, it might be something else. Probably eating chocolate or something else. Just figure out what it is for you, what you enjoy, and then incorporate it into that task that you don't really enjoy. Number three, make it very difficult for you to procrastinate by removing potential distractions and improving your environment. And the way you do this is, for example, if you find out that okay, your phone tends to distract you, probably from the notifications from social media, what you should do is just put your phone on airplane mode, or you can switch off your phone. That way you won't be distracted by your phone. And if probably it's not fun for you, probably you love sleeping and you always tend to be led by sleep, what you should do is just pack your bed, create a friction. Now the same principle that you applied when you are trying to start the task, like to make it enjoyable, you have to make what will allow you to procrastinate, you have to make it extremely difficult. And the way you do that is by creating a friction between you and that task that actually wants you to procrastinate, like sleeping, like watching a movie. For example, if it's movies that actually distract you, you might probably store all the movies on the flash, and then you probably go and put anytime you want to perform a task, you put the flash drive in somewhere very far away, so that it will take you hard work to actually go pick up the flash. The reason why we procrastinate oftentimes is because we we don't want to like more like stress ourselves. So rather than if you go and pick up the flash, you most likely just sit down and just enjoy your tasks and just continue with the tasks. And another way also by improving your environment, you make the tasks very more enjoyable. A particular way you can improve your environment is by getting a study desk, making sure that you clean your study desk. Anytime you want to study, you make sure that you are not studying while your door is open, so that nobody will come in and then they will distract you. You make sure that in your environment, that particular environment that you actually want to perform that task, you remove every possible means of distraction from that environment. That way you would find it very difficult to actually procrastinate. Now, the fourth anti-procrastination technique is delay before indulging in the procrastination. You can delay before indulging in the procrastination by counting to 10, to 20, to 30, to whatever number that you are actually quite comfortable with. Now, what this does is most times you procrastinate due to like reflex action. And by counting 1 to 10 or 1 to 20, you are bringing your subconscious, you are bringing your like consciousness back to reality of, oh, you are doing a certain task. Rather than for you to just go on autopilot and just go procrastinate or go do whatever it is that will take you away from the task that you wanted to do or that you are doing. Now, the fifth one is set personal deadlines. Now, I'm saying personal deadlines here because let's say maybe you have a project that you want to work on and you are asked to submit the project for after a month. Setting a personal deadline for yourself, you might say, okay, I will finish this particular work like in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Then after setting that, then you can now have enough time to review the work, and the reviewing can now come at your own pace. But then setting a personal deadline will make you more eager to actually do the work, because rather than for you, if you don't have a personal deadline, you just be doing the work, okay, I still have time. But if you set a personal deadline for yourself, you stick to that personal deadline, and that will even motivate you more to actually study, to do the task. Sixth is plan ahead of obstacles. When performing a task or studying, we tend to experience obstacles, and these obstacles usually provide an opportunity for us to procrastinate. And the best way for us to actually do this is plan ahead of that obstacle. Okay, if like for me now, if I want to record this video now, I just like, okay, one major issue I might have is, okay, if there is no light, okay, what can I do to actually overcome that? So that once I start recording, I'll just continue. Not maybe when I'm recording, since I'm in Nigeria, they can take the light anytime. Not maybe when I'm recording, they will take the light, and then I will not postpone or procrastinate the recording of the video to another time. Now, the seventh technique is increase your motivation. Now, you can increase your motivation by using a reward on strict day. Now, for the reward, probably after completing, now for example, let's say use the case of actually studying the organic chemistry. You may say, okay, after completing hydrocarbon, then I'll eat a chocolate. After completing hydrocarbon, I'll probably watch an episode of my favorite series. And then after completing the next one, you do so you reward yourself after completing each of those small tasks. And then using the strict days, if you've actually stuck to this task for probably like 7 days, then you can say, okay, after 6 days, if I complete this task if I'm able to do this task consistently for 6 days, then the 7th day I'll probably use that one to rest and just chill. So that way you'll even be motivated to actually do it consistently and then to actually do the task. Now, you can also increase your motivation by using episodic future thinking. Now, what does episodic future thinking mean? Anytime you want to start a task, you think of your future self. In the next 5 years, if I do this task, what will my life be like after completing this? If I do this task now, if I do this consistently. Let me use a perfect example. Let's say, okay, you are preparing for an exam now, and then you don't have the motivation to actually study for the exam. What you should do in that case is just imagine yourself, okay, this exam I'm trying to prepare for. If I study now and I study consistently, writing the exam, what will my result be like? What are those things that is waiting for me if I perform this task? For my future self when I perform this task? Now that will even motivate you to actually do better, because it's more like maybe you're already getting the outcome of actually performing that task. Another way you can also increase your motivation is actually to focus on the process itself. Just enjoy the process and enjoy the studying. Just focus on that, just that alone. The 8th anti-procrastination technique is use time management techniques. And some of them include creating a to-do list, setting a reminder for those tasks, and you can also use Ivy Lee methods. Ivy Lee methods require you to write down all the tasks you have to complete today, for example, and then you write the most important ones first. After writing the most important ones, then you start with those most important ones before you actually move to the less important ones. Another time management technique is Pomodoro method. I think I already made a video on that, so you can check The night anti-procrastination technique is create a starting ritual. Now, it's not the ritual that you're thinking about. Now, the ritual is just something that you do before you actually start a task. For example, right before you start reading, you listen to songs. Right before you start reading, you take chocolate. Right before you start reading, you do this. Right before you start a particular task, you basically certain things that you do before you start a task. And it's always advisable for you to actually do stuff that you enjoy, stuff that you know that when you do it, it will give you pleasure. And after giving you pleasure, then you start that task. But never start a task by playing a video game or watching a movie. It will basically be against you. But then, for example, something that is just brief, but then they are still bringing you pleasure, like eating chocolate, listening to your favorite music, those will actually help you to even be more eager to actually start the task, because you know, okay, if you want to start this task, so these are the things I will do, and those things are actually quite enjoyable. After creating those plans using those anti-procrastination techniques, then you implement them and monitor the progress. Now, because along the line, once you implement it, if you implement a particular plan, it might not necessarily work. Some part of the plan might work, other parts of the stuff might not work. You examine the progress, and then you definitely know where to actually improve on, so that you get the best out of that plan. That's all, guys. If you found this very helpful, kindly hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, kindly consider doing so. Bye, guys. See you in my next video.